What is up, my CineNerds?
That was my impression of the intro.
I am funny man, JP Cross.
And I'm just the fat guy on the side, Ryan.
Big fat piece of lard.
Fat guy in a little hoodie. Anyways, our episode this week is top 5 comedy, which is a little bit out of our norm. Obviously, the main theme for us, we try and pick some curveballs here and there, but the main theme for us usually is sci-fi, horror, that realm, but we like to throw those curveballs at you. So we thought we'd dig in and see what people are laughing about.
Well, the thing is, we're not just a horror podcast. We're not just a sci-fi podcast. We do everything. And
we lean towards those, though.
we lean towards them
but
because
we do
that's
everything.
what we like. But we want to touch base on a little bit of everything, you know.
I will tell you this. I'm never going to choose a rom-com. It's not going to happen. So little time. If you choose one, I'll watch it, but
It's a possibility that it could happen, but it's not. If I do, it's not going to be a traditional rom-com.
if you throw one at me, I'm throwing the Notebook at you right away.
No, I would never choose a fucking rom-com like that. It would be something like Yesterday or something like that.
Yes, is that the Beatles one?
Yes.
Okay, I could get down with that, or like Across the Universe, or those are great.
Yeah.
Or even, I don't really consider it a rom-com, but it's definitely heavy emotions. Big Fish.
I
I
fucking love
that
Big
dude.
Fish.
That movie. Every time I get a tear in the eye, every time I fucking love Ewan McGregor too. He's just
I
he
fucking
does not,
love you. I'm a Train Spotting.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right, we're getting sappy here. This is
Okay.
comedy, goddammit.
Okay, so before we dive in, CineNerdsPodcast.com. Check us out. Got all the episode stuff on there. The shop's on there. Links to everything's on there. Our schedule's on there. Your pictures of our pretty faces are on there. So check it out. Share it. Share it on your socials. And check us out every Thursday. Join us in live chat. We're always there.
So when we're doing this, and after this, I swear I'll shut up and get into the laughter, right? But when we're doing these, what you can do to help us right now, if you're in our live chat as we're talking about this, go down, hit the thumbs up on the YouTube page, saying, hey, I like this. And then after that, share it. Share it on your socials right away. Let people know we're in the chat. Come on over. Let's all talk. Because we've got a good crew in there every Thursday. We're all kind of talking it up, having fun, talking about movies, cracking jokes. Just it's laid back and get to hear a good episode. All right.
Right. Well, we are going to dive into our top 5 comedies.
I want to hold on. I want to point something out. This asshole. Every week we do our recording, he looks over at my notes. He's always looking down at my notes because he wants to see what I got going on.
I don't have my glasses on. I can't see it.
And no, we got to have that element of surprise. I never look at your notes. I'm just telling you. I like the element of surprise.
I unconsciously look, and I can't even actually see it. So.
JP and I never discuss these before we do the episode because it's more natural that way, and it just we feed off each other a little better, I feel. But this guy, every so often, he's looking down from the mic while he's talking. He's like at the side eye, Popeye thing going on. Anyways, all right.
You hold it up like this.
I don't need to do that. I'm a grown up. I just don't need to look at your stuff.
But no, I
Sit down,
can't
speaking.
see. I can't see.
Rock, paper, scissors. Are we gonna do this?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
You ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ha 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 ha. All right.
So I'm going first.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So, him and I talked about this before we hit record.
Oh yeah.
I kind of did my top 5 because the thing with comedies and some of these, it depends what kind of mood I'm in. On my top 5 list could be completely different next week, and it could be completely different 2 weeks ago than what I have on here right now, because it depends what kind of mood I'm in on what kind of comedy I'm going to find funny in right now.
We did discuss that lately because one of the other episodes we'll be recording in the coming weeks is soundtracks as well, the soundtracks for movies. And so like that comedy, it's a vibe, right? So like that could change every day. So this is just what we have right now.
So yeah, so the movies I put on mine are the movies that I laugh at every time I put them on. They may not even be popular, but you guys may look at me and go, man, why do you have that on your list? That's a dumb fucking movie. You know what? I have dumb humor that I love, so deal with it.
Very, very dumb humor.
I mean, the party animal could be on this list.
Fuck. This is going to be a long episode, guys.
My number 5 is a Steve Martin film,
Okay.
The Jerk.
I almost picked this. Okay. I was like, JP's picking it.
The Jerk. I fucking love The Jerk. I laugh at this movie every fucking time through almost every scene, start to finish. And if you've never seen Steve Martin's The Jerk, god damn, you're missing out.
So I have the top 5 in this, and because, like we just said, there's so many movies, the moods can change. I've got like 20 honorable mentions, and The Jerk's one of those. So totally agree.
Yeah, and I mean, The Jerk, essentially, I mean, Steve Martin plays a white man who was adopted by a black family that decides to go off on his own and explore the world and find out who he is. And it goes from there. And not going to go too much in it, but he earns money. He's always sending money home to mama. And he finds love. He loses love. He figures life out. But the craziness that he goes through start to finish is comedy gold. And it's Steve Martin. You can never go wrong with Steve Martin. So
that's it.
I mean, I can make some quotes in it.
No, I'm just fucking.
He hates the cans. Stay away from the cans.
So my wife and I, we watch almost religiously. I'm behind a few episodes at this point, but it's called Only Murders in the Building, which is about a podcast. So it's kind of interesting, but it's great blending of different generations. So you've got Martin, you've got Steve Martin, you've got Martin Short, and then you've got Selena Gomez, and the chemistry between these three is spectacular. And I think what's the not Amy Poehler? What's the brunette from Saturday Night Live with glasses? Tina Fey. Tina Fey is in this as well as like a secondary character, and man, it's so good. But anyways, I digress. My number 5. Merchandising. Horrible impression of Mel Brooks. But anyway, Spaceballs all day long.
Spaceballs, the podcast.
Space Nerds, the podcast. No, I love it thoroughly, like start to finish. Just a great movie. I have a full picture. I'll send it to JP, and he can put it in the picture in the feed. But I dressed up as Barf the one year, and it was a head to toe.
I have seen that. Yes, it was great too.
Yeah, I fucking love this movie. The whole Schwartz premise, the lightsabers, the rings, getting him in a Jack in the Box, as a toy, a prize favor. Start to finish, just quality comedic gold. The surrounded by assholes scene when they're on the deck. Oh my God, Dark Helmet. I could talk about this movie forever, but it is definitely one of those staples. And I told my youngest, my 12-year-old, because I've made him watch it. I told him that I was choosing that as one of my top 5, and he got excited too.
So I had this on my honorable mentions, or I was going to put them on my honorable mentions, and I don't know why I didn't put. This was going on my honorable mentions. I just forgot to put it on here. This one and Silent Movie. I'm a huge fan of Silent Movie by Mel Brooks. So I love Mel Brooks films, and so this one was an honorable mention, and I fucking love Spaceballs for obvious reasons. This is Star Wars spoof, and done Mel Brooks style. So, yeah, if you've never seen Spaceballs, fucking go rent it right now, because especially if you're a Star Wars fan, or if you hate Star Wars, watch it because they spoof it.
It's a parody on Star Wars, and I can't wait to see you have the prequel trilogy and you have the sequel trilogy now from Star Wars, and they greenlit Spaceballs, the sequel. So I can only imagine where it's going to go. I hope it's as brutal as the first one was, as far as, like, I don't want them holding back on punches. I want them to just let it be a movie that's not getting the new age agenda of being afraid to offend people. I want it to just be like a normal Mel Brooks movie. Man's creeping up on 100, and he's involved in this, so I'm excited to see what we can get out of this.
All right. My number 4. You're gonna love this one.
I don't know if that.
No, you're gonna love
Okay.
this one. My number 4, motherfucking Porky's.
It's in my honorable mentions, but I actually thought you would pick this one as well. So,
Yeah, I put Porky's on it because I like. What, you making sure I put Porky's?
I was just, returning the favor and peeking back at his list.
I could not read your list.
Likely excuse.
I love Pee Wee in Porky's. Porky's is just a fun fucking vibing, like, that time period movie, and I love that style of film. And yeah, it's just, I can put it on at any time and laugh my ass off.
I will always give credence to this as one of the foundational movies that made me who I am, because, and I've told the story numerous times in this podcast, but if you haven't heard, the first 2 R-rated movie. Well, I don't know if it was R-rated at the time. I think so.
I'm pretty sure it was.
So the first 2 R-rated movies I saw, I was 6 years old, and my neighbor was 10. And back in the 80s, parents used to leave us alone all the time. And I went next door to his house, and we were watching his parents' movies. And in the same afternoon, I saw Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white Romero, and Porky's. And to this day, those 2 sum up my personality. I feel zombies and boobs, man. There's not much better.
I mean, this movie, if you've never seen it, it is 1950s style, but it was done in 80, or was
80s.
it? Yeah, I can't remember if it was 80s or late 70s, but it was done in the early 80s.
Maybe late 70s.
Yeah, one or the other, but ballpark, same time period. But it's based in the 50s, and high schoolers going to a bar to, party, and they get their asses kicked, and they buy the Porky's. The bar is called Porky's. So the one guy is constantly going back and trying to get in there and fucking with him. He's getting his ass kicked. The whole thing happens, and they go take stuff out on Porky's to get revenge on him. But they're always doing fucked up shit, like they're sticking their dicks through the fucking shower holes, and the gym teacher's coming in and grabbing it, and she wants to identify the penis, which this stuff will never happen in today's movies.
They actually line up. I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I can identify the penis. So yeah, if you've never seen Porky's, all of them, Porky's the Next Day, and Porky's Revenge, all of them are so good.
Fair, very fair.
I think there did one like years later, like a 4th one, but
that's when you start getting into those like
yeah.
3, 4, 5, all that stuff. It's like American Pie. Like,
well, I think, and I think that one was like 10 or 15 years later after Revenge. So it was like, I think maybe one person from the original cast came back, and yeah, I think it may have even been made for TV.
My number 2. Or sorry, I guess it'd be number 4.
Number 4.
Sorry, number 4.
We ain't that far down
Well,
here.
second one I'm talking about. So number 4 though, Tommy Boy. Going with Old Faithful here. So Tommy Boy growing up, and it was just a stupid slap happy movie in the 90s. Got to see it, enjoy it. I loved every second of it. I laughed so hard the first few times I saw it. One of my favorite scenes is when well, first of all, good story here. Good story. So always have a running joke with some of my friends about the housekeeping scene. Pretends to knock on the door, and David Spade goes, "Who is it?" And no, wait, David Spade's knocking at the door. I just butchered that already. David Spade's knocking at the door, and he goes, "Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?" Does the whole thing, right? So Chris Farley, "For the love of God, leave me alone, I'm sleeping." Excellent, right? I go on vacation, not on vacation, it's my honeymoon in my marriage. My wife and I got married in Maui, and we had friends come with us. And I thought it was one of my friends knocking at the door, because the voice that came through said housekeeping in a high-pitched note. And I literally yelled through the door, "For the love of God, leave me alone, I'm sleeping." And I opened the door to a little scared Hawaiian lady with she had mints in her hand trying to give it to me, and she's shaking because I scared her so badly. And I just looked at her, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought you were my friend. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it." But anyways, so that always stayed with me with that. But in that same sequence, though, while they're at the same hotel, Chris Farley's character walks into the room and David Spade's jerking off. And so for the rest of their trip in that little moment in that scene,
Calls him Spanky.
no, he goes, Richard, who's your favorite little rascal?
Is it Spanky?
Yeah. I forever laughed about that. I could, Jesus Christ, just such a good movie, start to finish. It's got a wholesome vibe too. Like he's he's trying to live in his old man's shoes. He's trying to run this company, so he saves all the people from being fired and laid off. He wants to keep the company afloat and make his dad proud and show his dad he can do something.
And they're all based out of Sandusky, like
Yep.
right down the road from here.
And the Callahan automotive name carries on into the movie 50 First Dates. Dan Aykroyd reprises his role under a different name, but they said it's because he changed his name from embarrassment, and he's in 50 First Dates in the was a mental place basically. So it's just interesting. Spun off a lot of good movies, a lot of good partnerships too with David Spade and Chris Farley because they pair so well together. We got Beverly Hills Ninja. We got all these. What was the other one besides Tommy Boy? I'm having a brain fart. Black Sheep.
Yeah, Black Sheep.
So I enjoyed this. I think it was great, and it's on my list. These are definitely, like, even though these can change week to week, the 5 that I'm going to list are just staples that I can always depend on.
So I didn't put a Chris Farley movie at all in my honorable mentions or top 5. And
Shame on you.
Tommy Boy is the best.
It's great.
It's his best film, period. And I do enjoy Tommy Boy. Black Sheep's fun.
It's another
everything
Tommy Boy,
else.
but not as
Everything
funny.
else after that with him is is all right. I can watch it, but I'm not. It's not my go-tos.
No, yeah, if it's on, it's on. But that type deal.
All right, so my number 3.
I'm getting more scared as we get down to the one for him because I don't know what he's going to throw at me.
I think a lot of people maybe, I don't know. I don't know if people are going to be upset about my number 3 or not, but I laugh my ass off at this movie, start to finish, every time I watch it, and I fucking love this movie. Clerks 2.
Okay.
I fucking love Clerks 2. It is so much better than Clerks. It is start to finish. There's a line. I mean, there's a whole skit about Star Wars in it, how it's better than Lord of the Rings.
And it's fucking beautiful.
Yes.
And
And,
he basically says Lord of the Rings is about walking.
yeah, because it is.
They could sum that up. He goes, I'll sum it up in 5 minutes.
All they did was fucking walk in that film. Yes. The fucking movie is just start to finish great. The whole Star Wars scene, ripping on Lord of the Rings, the Transformer jokes, the making fun of people online.
Jay and Silent Bob
Jay and
alone.
Silent Bob is just great in it. I mean, you get the iconic scenes in it with him doing the Silence of the Lambs dance in it, and you get the whole skit where they're clean. You know, they've gotten out of rehab and they found Jesus, and yeah, it's
JP goes further with this, and he tells me, he swears, I've heard mixed emotions. I have not seen part 3 yet.
Part 3 is so fucking good. Clerks 3,
And-
I have cried every time I've watched.
And we
this
were
film.
talking about this in our feed last week, I believe. It was last week. Anyways, yeah, when we did the top 5 horror, religious horror, we were talking about it in our feed. For some reason, we started talking about Clerks, and people really appreciated part 3 and said that it had a great ending and gave you all the feels. So even though I haven't seen part 3, now I'm going to go back in and see part 3.
I love part 3, but part 3 is a love letter to indie films, and it's a love letter to Clerks and Clerks 2, and it works on less of a comedy. It is a comedy, but it works less as a comedy and more as a love letter to indie film and to Clerks, and where all these guys got their start. And to me it's a very an emotional film, and I think it's one of Kevin Smith's best movies, period. Clerks 2 is one of his best comedies ever, period. And it's just obvious reasons. I mean, we just named multiple reasons. There's a donkey show in it, for Christ's sake. I mean, what more do you need?
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy that so much. I do like Clerks thoroughly. I do like most Kevin Smith stuff. I think we talked about Kevin Smith in general. That's what it was. That's what led to that. I just and you know what? I want to rewatch now. Red State.
That's why
It's
we
not,
started
it's not
talking
comedy.
about Kevin
Yeah,
Smith.
we started
'cause
talking about that. I think Rick mentioned Red State, and I was like, I forgot about that because it's really a good movie. But anyways, okay, my number 3, Police Academy.
Honorable mention, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, no, Mahoney, Winslow, like there's just so many amazing aspects to this film, start to finish. I laughed way too hard. Bobcat, go away, dude. I mean, if you don't laugh or like snicker a little bit, even now, if you're watching Police Academy, because it is an '84 film, if you don't laugh or snicker a little bit in this film, then something's wrong with you. This movie is just always good. It's one of those staples. You always feel good when you watch it. It's a little longer than it should be, if I'm being honest, but I can live with that because I do nothing but smile the whole time. So,
Police Academy, and really Police Academy 2, Police Academy 3, they are constant watches for me. And they're racy. There's a lot of stuff in there that you would not fly in today's films. But
let's be honest, like 65 to 85, those are that was a window.
But but the movie is fucking hilarious, and really specifically, the first 3 are consistently hilarious. I fucking love those films, and I really am talking about the first 3, but even past the first 3, they're still good.
Mm-hmm.
They're just fucking funny.
I got to meet Bubba Smith at one point in life. That was cool too.
I got to meet Lieutenant Callahan. I got her signature upstairs.
Nice. We had one of the. He had a burger place somewhere up here in was it Avon? I think it was Avon Lake, somewhere around there. But nicest dude in the world. My Gramps met him too on a flight. Said the same thing, just nothing but kind words. So just man, what a good cast. And I love hearing. I don't know if you guys haven't heard in recent years. There was I don't know if it was. I think it was Jimmy Fallon, the actor who plays Winslow. He went on and he did. It was him and someone else that went on there, and the person was a musician with him, and the musician sang while he did the guitar part for a Led Zeppelin song. Mm-hmm. Man, that guy just has not lost it. His sound effects are just untouchable. He's like,
well, and it's been,
and he's in Spaceballs.
I guess, yeah, he is in Spaceballs. But they also Steve Guttenberg, him, and Lieutenant Hooks, the one that always the
quiet officer. Yeah.
They played in Lavalantula and Lavalantula, two Lavatulantula movies.
I don't know what those are.
Really? No. Oh my God, they are sci-fi horror films about volcano Lavalantulas, giant tarantulas that come out attacking the cities.
This is there's no more definitive JP title than I've ever heard in my life than this. Okay,
but hear me out. The cast, most of the cast, is the Police Academy cast.
Well, now out of curiosity, I want to see.
There's so many Police Academy throwbacks in both of those films, like that they are fantastic. Like I fucking love the Lavalantula fucking movies.
That is definitely like that's right up there with Invisible Raptor. So.
Yeah, it's Lavalantula, and I think the second one's Two Lava Two Lantula is what it's called.
What year did that come out? If it was that, like, so it would have been like the MC Hammer era, like, Too Legit to Quit.
No, it was like 2010.
Oh my God!
I think the Two Lava Two Lantula was kind of making fun of like Too Fast Too Furious or something. Yes, I watch a lot of movies and a lot of shit movies. Okay, so my turn?
Yes, sir.
We're down to my number 2.
Yep.
Oh. I'm going to make you mad.
Maybe.
My number 2 is a movie that, another one I laughed start to finish. And for years I said it was the funniest movie I ever seen in my life, and I still love this one. Basketball.
Really?
I fucking love Basketball. All the fucking South Park references and comments and the insults.
All right, so with the exception of Orgasmo, I have not. I watched Basketball once. I haven't watched it again, and I have not watched South Park.
Cannibal the Musical?
Nope.
So good. You never watched South Park?
I've watched the first season of South Park, and then I never watched it again.
Man, they get so much better. And honestly, I don't think South Park gets great until it focuses less on the kids and more on Randy Marsh, especially when Randy Marsh becomes a pot farmer.
I get judged for this all the time, but I have not seen Family Guy or South Park.
You skip. I mean, Family Guy, I don't watch it anymore. It's gotten, but like for a long time, Family Guy was great, but it started getting bland. South Park, no, they don't give a fuck. They make fun of everybody, and it's just as good now as it has ever been. Basketball has a lot of elements of South Park with the insults, like that they have to do the psych outs against other teams, and the basketball game they create is basically it's basketball with baseball rules. Yeah,
I remember the premise. I just
and they have to do psych outs, and so they're always like, "Oh, I hear your sister's going out with Squeak," which is like one of their teammates that they always make fun of. Like the movie is it's South Park humor. If you like Trey Parker and Matt Smith humor, you're going to like basketball if you've never seen it.
I mentioned it, so I'm going to say it needs to be in my honorable mentions out of my millions of them. But Orgasmo's pretty badass too.
I love Orgasmo.
That's great.
And honestly, I love everything Trey Parker and Matt Stone do. I mean, hell, these guys showed up to the fucking Academy Awards on acid. These guys don't give a fuck.
And I don't know how they get away with the shit they do too. Like if I'm being honest,
they are
crap.
like the untouchable because they just make fun of everybody. It's like they take no prisoners. They don't care who you are. It's an election year. Oh, we're going to make fun of Trump and Hillary. Fuck them both.
Yeah, zero fucks given on that. Are we at mine 2 already?
It's your number 2 because that was my
Fuck's
number 2.
Sake. Okay, mine. You probably will like Airplane.
I do like Airplane.
Airplane is a staple for sure. I laughed way too hard at that. I mean, Leslie Nielsen, Captain Stryker.
I'm looking and I'm upset at myself. I did not put any Leslie Nielsen films in my honorable mentions.
Oh wow!
And I don't know why.
I'm a little upset, by the way, that they're apparently redoing a Naked Gun movie, and there's no Leslie Nielsen, so I don't see how that. Why? Why? Don't fuck with that.
I won't watch it.
These fucking remakes. Stop. Anyways, you guys have already heard our 2 cents on that. But yeah, Airplane is one of those ones I saw when I was a young kid. I think I was like between 8 and 10, somewhere in there. It just made me giggle as a kid. And then as I watched as an adult, all the shit I didn't understand as a kid, it all kicked in. And I was like, holy shit. Like it's so much adult humor. It's insane. By the way, small little side note. Same with SpongeBob. If you haven't gone back and revisited SpongeBob, definitely a lot of adult humor in there that I did not catch when I was little, and I'm worried my kids did.
Yeah. No, there's some fucked up shit in that. And Airplane is it's a man. There's some racy things.
Yeah,
in there.
I mean that Police Academy, Blazing Saddles, Porky's. What else did you say? What was your
The Jerk?
The Jerk. I mean that era, like I said, 65 to 85. People. Things were put out there that probably shouldn't have been put out there in retrospect, and it was usually done in a tasteful way, but at the same time, in reflection, you're like, ugh, no.
Yeah, it's that one's just like what those other ones. I mean, but it's funny. God damn, it's funny.
Don't call me Shirley. Sorry, just gotta...
My number 1. I think this one's gonna make you angry too.
You didn't make me angry last time, so we're.
This is a movie that me and my son watched constantly while he was little, and even today. Like, we'll be sitting around, and my son will be like, "Hey, let's watch this," and that movie is always Talladega Nights.
Oh my God, really?
Fucking love Talladega Nights.
Now, here's what's funny. I'm just gonna say this, not say which one. My number 1 spot is also a Will Ferrell movie, so that's fair. I mean, I need to watch Talladega again.
I love Talladega Nights because I'm a Southern guy that grew up in a NASCAR town. I'm from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and we had one of the original NASCAR tracks in Wilkesboro for years. And so I grew up NASCAR. Junior Johnson, who was a very famous race car driver in NASCAR and had his own racing team for years until he passed. Was from my hometown. Ran moonshine in my hometown. That was where all that started. So Talladega Nights for me is just it's fucking funny to me. It's hilarious and just the over the top ridiculous attitude, and it's just spot on with a lot of fucking people I grew up with, and it's fantastic in my eyes.
My wife, she at her job all day long talking to doctors and nurses, and she's a nurse, and she comes home and she's using medical terminology to basically explain everything to me, and I'm like, can you speak English? That's exactly how I just felt when you're listing those names from NASCAR, because I was not trained mechanically in any way, shape, or form, never grew up with cars whatsoever, so NASCAR was the least of my, I never ever thought about it, so that's probably why I didn't like identify with that movie. But everyone I know raves about this movie, and I think I maybe only watched half of it the first time I watched it and turned it off, so I need to revisit that.
Yeah, you need, and if you, I feel like anybody will love this movie if they actually just sit down and watch it. But if you grew up like I did, then you understand why I love this movie so much. And it's I know so many people like this, and there's another film in my honorable mentions with actually it stars somebody that from my hometown actually stars in it, and me and Waylon and I grew up with. Like he's a little older than us, but we went to college together and everything. And so I'll talk about that in a minute.
All
But
right.
for the same reasons, that's in my honorable mentions. There's people in that movie that act the way I saw people back where I live, where I come from, where my hometown is, and that's how I feel about Talladega Nights. There's a lot of the over the top redneck guys that this is what I grew up with, and I find it fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Fair, fair. All right, well, my number one, Anchorman, easily. I literally, so I had a few movies that could have been a number one, and the other movies that, even though they didn't make the rest of my list, it was because it's the mood we were talking about, right? But Anchorman is up there. Step Brothers is up there, and I definitely, there's a couple others that are up there that I could have put in this spot, but Anchorman for me, almost start to finish, is just a fucking phenomenal laugh of a movie if you needed time to laugh. There's so many one-liners. There's so many amazing things. It starts off strong. It ends strong. Even when they're trying to make some kind of a valid point of the fuckery that happens throughout the movie, even those points fall short because the comedy is so overwhelming that it's just in your face, and it's so good. The cast is stellar. Probably, if I had to be honest, it's probably one of Christina Applegate's best performances. And I say that meaning I actually know her performances, because I watched The Sweetest Thing proudly because that movie taught me about what to do and not to do to ladies. But anyways, just a spectacular performance, start to finish. From the It's the Pleats to his conversations with Baxter to the phone booth scene. I can never get enough of this movie. I have also never been equally as mad at a sequel ever in my life, because the sequel was just dog shit.
See, I enjoyed the sequel a
Oh my
lot.
god,
I
really?
enjoy both of them, but I enjoyed the sequel a lot.
The
And
sequel,
I think the one thing that set me, I loved just that one scene. Well, where he's getting everybody back, the team back together. I love all that with getting the team back together. I love the chicken of the cave, thing, and I love that Paul Rudd's characters taking pictures of cats.
dude.
And
But in their first one, where they have the news station anchorman fight, oh my god, the memes that came out of nowhere for this, and the Dorothy Mantooth is a saint, all that stuff. Just I don't know. There's so much that happened in that movie that it overshadows part two, and I feel the same way. Like, and you might hate me for saying this too, but I did like the first Zoolander because it was quirky and weird. The second one was complete garbage again.
I just don't like Ben Stiller, so
That's fair. That's fair. But I thought it was okay. That's all. But yeah, no, Anchorman definitely rules the roost for me. I'm shocked too, because I was considering, there was also some other top contenders in there, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, those type movies too, because I do enjoy those too. But yeah, so that's mine. What's your number? Or wait, you already
I already did my
sorry,
number one. So honorable mentions.
Yes,
So I first honorable mention. We will do back and forth.
we can do that.
All right.
I'm going to read a shit ton though. I'm going to.
I don't. I've got a few, but I don't have a ton. My first honorable mention, because I did not put a John Candy on my list. I
I didn't
did.
either.
Did almost. I decided honorable mention. One of my favorites from him. Who's Harry Crumb? Fucking love Who's Harry Crumb.
I haven't seen that in a long
Oh,
time.
I've watched it pretty recently too,
Okay.
and I love Who's Harry Crumb. I think that movie's so fucking ridiculous, and it's just I don't know. It's so different from so many of his comedies
Okay.
that I think that's why I like it so much. Like I love John Candy, but that was the most different film that he did.
All right. I'm gonna let's go with. I'm gonna go with this one for my first honorable mention. Shaun of the Dead. I think that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's relationship in this particular movie, combined with zombies, combined with the way that it was shot, how clever it was, maybe their best work together ever. I like everything about this movie. Simon Pegg in this was a redheaded dude, and when he was around his mom would call him Pickle. And so my son Justice, when he was born, I started calling him Pickle. And then a joke happened in our house that Pickle ate a pickle. And it's stupid little shit, right? But so I've got so many like ties to that, and the way they poke fun at the zombie movies that I love so much in a healthy way. So good. I appreciate it. I laughed most of the movie, and exception of a couple of the zombie scenes. So Shaun of the Dead.
All right, so my next one, and this is the one that I said that it stars somebody that came from my hometown that did another movie that reminded me so much of people that I grew up around. The Campaign with Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell.
I don't remember this one.
Yeah, it's a movie that where Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis are both running against each other for Senate.
Okay.
In a local area in the one of the Senate seats in North Carolina, and Will Ferrell does a very good job of playing somebody that would be from North Carolina, but Zach Galifianakis, he plays the same guy that I have seen in my hometown that he has always been, but dressed a little nicer and running for Senate. Like he just.
So you knew him.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Waylon, I know Waylon knew him a little more than I did. I've seen him in passing. I not really spoke a lot or anything with him. But I've always seen him in passing. But here and there, and actually before I moved back to Ohio, I seen him coming to Wilkesboro Walmart there before I moved back up to Ohio. But no, he is from my neck of the woods, and it shows in the Campaign. The way Zach Galifianakis is playing, he's being a North Carolinian, and to me it is so fucking funny. And the movie's a good funny movie anyway, but for me on that level, it's even more funny.
See, I've got two peeps in my town, not my town, my city, but two peeps that made it. One of them was a friend named Michael Chernus. He was in Severance most recently. He was in one of the last Men in Blacks. He's been in a bunch of movies, but I don't know any of his comedies he's been in, but he's been in so many movies at this point. The other friend, mine aren't as well known as Mr. Galifianakis, but on my list, I do have a movie that some would find shocking that I find funny, but it's really only because of my friend. It's called Legally Blonde 2, and my buddy is his acting name is Jay Barton, and in it he's skating down the one of his main scenes. He's Timmy. He's working for as L. Is that what? Reese Witherspoon's name is, it right? I think. Sure. Anyways, he's skateboarding down the hallway to get a senator's signature, but some of the stuff that ensues throughout this movie actually really is funny. I remember that I laughed the whole time because of my friend, so I can understand what you're saying. And back to Zach Galifianakis, Between Two Ferns is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I literally just
oh my God.
literally just rewatched the Between Two Ferns
Oh.
movie.
So good. But anyways, go ahead.
Euro Trip, because why not?
Mi scusi.
I mean, Euro Trip is better than Road Trip, and I will die on this mountain.
I agree.
It's so fucking
Agree.
good.
Yeah. Mi scusi. That was the creepiest dude in the whole movie, and it was so funny.
It gave us the Scotty doesn't know meme.
I'm here for it. I love it. Like I said, I got so many. I'm gonna throw 3 into this one. I'm gonna go Animal House, Spinal Tap, and Super Troopers. Just solid, standard, amazing movies all around the board.
I didn't put Adam Sandler in my top 5, but Happy Gilmore's in my honorable mentions.
Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore are mine. Yeah.
And you got any more? You want me to go again?
Go ahead.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
You like that?
I love 40-Year-Old Virgin. I mean, it has a 40-year-old virgin that collects toys.
But and I understand why you like that too. But if I were to pick a Steve Carell movie, I'd probably go with Bruce Almighty before I did that. It's not his main focus, but just the fact
Evan Almighty.
Evans, but Steve Carell's in that, and Bruce, and when he's doing that, when Bruce is making him do the whole teleprompter thing while he's doing the news, I just don't know if you can. That's one of those comedic gold.
It was perfect.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
It could not have been done better. So I die laughing every time I see it. You ready for me?
Yeah, go ahead. I only got one more.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna throw another 3-fer. We're going to go Stripes, Office Space, and Caddyshack.
I love Caddyshack.
Yeah, they're great. I love Stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Office Space, too. Like, some of that's... Oh, you know what? That makes me think of another one. Waiting. I don't know. I left Waiting off the list completely.
My last honorable mention, and I think you have to have this at least in an honorable mention, or at least one of their films. Monty Python, Holy Grail.
Right here.
Holy Grail.
That was going to be the last one I did.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah, Holy Grail. And I almost put...
Tis but a scratch.
almost put The Life of Brian, but I decided to put Holy Grail.
Fair. Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's a shit ton of comedies. If you have not seen any of the ones we listed, highly recommend you check them out. I even heard a couple from JP that I'm going to be going and checking out because why not? I gotta revisit and reapproach Talladega Nights and oddly the Police Academy cast in Larva. What was it?
Lava Lantula.
Lava Lantula.
And Two Lantula.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Those movies exist. And let me tell you, the thing about those movies...
How do you find the movies that no one thinks exist? Because that's the big question. Like, oh my God, the shit you find.
So, the thing about these two movies, and I will tell you, with Lava Lantula and Two Lantula, if you like Police Academy, and you like...
Just hearing you say that's fucked up.
And if you like Police Academy... and you like Sharknado, then let me introduce you to the crossover you didn't know you need, and that's what this movie is.
Lava Lantula. Jesus Christ. All right, guys, that does it for us for the top 5 comedy. We'll spare you the share and all that fun stuff because we talked about it in the beginning.
CineNerds Podcast.com is in the... Wait, I'll get a finger right. It's right here on the screen right here.
Cool. Well, we're your CineNerds, and take it easy.
Later.
Later.